Welcome back to Section 4 Fans, the podcast with real fans, real takes. Let's get into it. We got a March Madness episode here as it is closing in, as this upcoming weekend is going to be the first couple games of the tournament. We're going to be breaking down Cinderella possibilities, the most overrated teams in the brackets, and teams that could be heading out for an early exit. So let's get into it. First off, what do we think? Bracket just came out, not even 10 minutes ago. Just initial thoughts, any standouts that you guys have?
I thought St. John's as the 5 seed was probably the craziest thing in the whole bracket. Everything else kind of seemed predictable. I think people arguing Auburn being in is ridiculous.
Not a
What were
chance.
they? 2 games over 500?
Something like
Um,
that.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The first four out, Auburn was in there. Um, that's probably the only two things I really recognize that stood out. Um, UConn killed their 1 seed shot in the Big East Championship. It was there for the taking for them with the Florida loss, and again with the Michigan Big Ten championship loss today. That probably, if they would have won the Big East tournament, they probably would have been a 1 seed.
I was surprised how much the Purdue their seeding ranked on the Big Ten championship game, because I think the guy on the TV said they went, because there was 7 seed in the Big Ten. They went like
Yeah.
4-4 their last 8 games in the Big Ten conference. So I was kind of
hmm
like surprised to see how they're a 2 seed, but like they started the year 17-1, so it wasn't like a
It was
huge.
probably that win over. It was over Michigan. Probably the win beating Michigan was what really
Well, obviously, yeah,
gave them the
that was part
Well,
edge.
of it.
no, I get that part, but I'm just saying like they were 7 seed in the Big Ten, and then that jumps them all the way up to a 2 seed. I guess me personally, I'd probably still have Michigan State over them, just because I think they just closed out better in the Big Ten conference than Purdue did. But
Would you have put Gonzaga as a 2 seed over Purdue?
let's see.
30-3 Gonzaga, conference champs. They are the 3 seed in that.
Yeah, I guess I probably would have. I think so. You said they're a 3 seed. They're definitely. I would definitely put them as a sleeper to be in the Final Four for sure. I
Gonzaga
don't see. Yeah, I
with
don't see why.
Arizona, Arkansas, Purdue.
Never trust Arizona.
That's what
That's That's never ever since when I picked them. What was it? I think like I was a sophomore in high school when they had DeAndre Ayton and Alonzo Trier running the show, and I picked them to win it all in the first round. Never again. I'm never trusting Arizona. I
I
never
like that
trust.
Utah State
Upset. I'm with you there.
upset
Utah State's looking
going
good.
to the
Yeah,
Sweet 16.
kind of just the same things that you guys mentioned. St. John's did shock me, especially when you're taking into consideration the jump that Purdue made in the bracket and the seeding and how they were seeded in the Big Ten. St. John's was a 2 seed in the Big East, and they won, and they were a 5 seed, so that was kind of shocking. Kind of looking again at that Purdue ranking. But ultimately, not many surprises there. Yeah, I don't. Carter, you want to
Yeah,
segue us into
I
something?
just I want to lead or start off here with the hottest teams currently in college basketball. High Point currently with 14 wins in a row. They play against Wisconsin right away to
Yeah,
start.
that's an upset for sure.
High Point, fast-paced team. They're what was it, Drake last year? That was super high-paced.
Yeah,
And who did Wisconsin lost to James Madison last
them.
year?
Yeah, James Madison, but they were James Madison was a 12 seed, but I think everyone picked the upset.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really
UMBC
like that.
UMBC has 12 wins in a row. They play against Howard for the 16 seed. Howard also, I believe, has 7 or 8 wins in a row. So two hot teams coming head to head. Duke is at 11 wins in a row, probably the hottest. Them and Arizona are the two hot one seeds coming in the tournament with win
Yeah.
streaks. Akron, McNeese, and South Florida all have 10 wins in a row. I don't really like McNeese this year as much as last year. I like Akron, and I really do love South Florida. Um, I don't know if you guys have watched South Florida play this year at all.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
Fortunate.
watched a little bit of their game today. They are very good. They are first in the nation in second chance points, 14th in fastest pace in the nation, and they average 29 3-point attempts per game, which is 22nd in the nation. Um,
Who do they play in the first round? Is it
Louisville,
Nebraska? Louisville?
Louisville, 6 ranked
yeah,
Louisville.
and Louisville is
Mm,
in the trapezoid of excellence, by the way.
interesting. I
I
don't
can read
know.
off those trapezoid of excellence teams. So we got Duke, Illinois, Purdue, UConn, Michigan State's on the border, Nebraska's on the border, Vanderbilt, Louisville, Gonzaga, Florida, Arizona, Michigan State, Iowa State.
Did you say Bama or no?
No, Bama's so far right.
Are they?
Yeah,
Interesting.
they are the fastest paced team in the nation by far.
Interesting.
And I feel like that's why has Bama I feel like Alabama's gone out a lot earlier the past years when before they were supposed to just because of how fast they play. And it's just almost like they can't keep that same pace the whole tournament.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say I think Bama just
I mean, they do
the
considerably like well, at least the past year. I mean, last year they made it to the Elite Eight and lost to Duke, who was a one
Yeah.
seed. So it was like not much you could do with Duke. They're always a powerhouse, but they always seem to not make the championship. But yeah, Alabama's always an interesting team to watch. They always play fast.
I think the Bama Texas Tech matchup in the second round is going to be a good one. I'm still thinking I'm going to rock with Texas Tech on that one, even though they lost JP Toppin, but or JT Toppin, excuse me.
Where is
Other than
that? I'm
that,
trying to find that game right
Tech
now.
is in the Midwest.
Against
West.
Akron, yeah,
Texas Tech versus
That's a
Akron,
tough
Bama.
matchup to start.
that's a 12-5. That's a pretty good matchup there. Everyone
I
loves a 12-5 upset.
Texas Tech set a school record this year for wins against top 10 opponents, so I don't see them stopping
I
at
think
Akron.
the only thing is the just beaten up team.
I think really their only injury is JT Toppin at the
Yeah,
moment.
But
That's
like
yeah,
it.
that's.
how big is that? What was that
Pretty
noise?
big. JT Danny voice cracked.
Yeah.
No, JT Toppin's a huge loss, but I
But
was
they've been
reading
able to
that
manage since he's been out.
yeah, since he's been out, I think they have like a senior guard that's averaging close to 20 a game. Like I would not be surprised if we saw Texas Tech run to like at least the Elite Eight for sure.
So Texas Tech has opened up at an 8.5 point favorite against Akron.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas Tech.
Is there any other matchups you guys that shoot out at you? I believe for me, Arkansas, Hawaii, just because Hawaii's in the tournament.
Yeah, no,
That's a
It's kind of gas, bro.
Arkansas is gonna beat
but
them. I watched.
uh some some things about Hawaii here. Um, they are first in the NCAA for uh they allow 9.3 assists per game.
They're gonna
Hmm.
allow a lot more when they play an SEC team.
They play so I was watching a lot of Ryan Hammer 9 recently. He's a guy that does a lot of the trapezoid excellence stuff on Instagram. Um,
What side is
Hawaii,
Nebraska on?
the Nebraska?
Yeah, did
Nebraska
they not get
plays
in?
Troy.
Oh,
They're
there it
on
is,
the
Troy.
same.
Yeah, they play Troy. But this Hawaii defense, they play straight ISO ball defense. They force teams into just isolation matchups the
A Cup's gonna have a day
whole
if that's
game.
the case.
Dude, Acuff's build is almost like Ant.
Dude,
It's actually kind of
It's
crazy. It's just like
Calipari
in
and the
a
guards. Any good guard with Calipari is an instant NBA lottery pick gonna get
Are you
millions of
saying
dollars.
are you saying the new Kentucky guard is going to be the new Arkansas guard, and that's what it's going
Yeah,
to be?
yeah. No, I see that
Or
very much. Get Calipari, he's built kind of a reputation with building up good guards that have made considerable um, movement in the league in the NBA. You
that
could date
Rob
it back.
Dillingham?
Yeah, I mean, well, he's still young, still has some time, but obviously that one hasn't quite panned out. But majority of the other ones have.
Hmm.
We can slow pace down here along with this slow pace team. Cal Baptist making the tournament. They are one of the slowest pace teams in the NCAA and one of the lowest shoot
Slow
3-point shooting teams in the NCAA.
slow
They face Kansas first round.
slow pace teams are so dangerous because they can like suck you into their pace, which like honestly I don't think is going to be a problem for Kansas in the first round. I think the St. John's Kansas matchup in the second round, assuming St. John's can get past Northern Iowa, uh,
The
I
the
think
thing with
that'll be a fun matchup.
the thing with
I personally
Kansas
think.
is which version of Peterson is going to show up. That's going to be the storyline the whole tournament. There's been times where he doesn't play at all, just moments before tip off, or he plays, maybe the first half and then just does not play. I don't imagine that thing would happen once he's in the tournament. But he kind of has been up and down. Obviously, I think Kansas will bounce back after being held to. I think they were held to 49 points in the Big 12 tournament in their last game that they lost. I think it was 49 points that they scored that whole game, so it was incredibly low. I do imagine they would bounce back, but yeah, it's always tough playing those slower pace teams.
Uh,
Yeah.
Moving on here to South Florida. Their first matchup is I had it and I lost it. D- Do
Louisville,
any
bro, we've mentioned it.
Louisville?
Yes, Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
Danny, you're a big upset guy, I feel like. I feel like you love the upset. Do you see an upset in this matchup? I know we already spoke on it, but US a lot of people are saying USF is shouldn't be considered a Cinderella team because of how good they are.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's tough. Obviously, they've been on a good win streak. However, I just think I think if a good Louisville team, they've had some pretty good wins this year. I think if they could show up and not let USF, suck them into their game plan, and Louisville can, keep rolling with the way they do things, I think they should be able to make it out of there. Obviously, they're just going to need more help on defense. I think looking at the stats, I think USF is better defensively at the moment, but this the 6-11 matchup is always an interesting one. I never feel like there's as many upsets as a 6-11 in comparison to a 5-12 matchup. Um, yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one. Opening at 6.5 favorites, Louisville. If I had to guess, I would take South Florida to cover. Not necessarily win, but I think they could keep a close game.
I think South Florida right now, their guard. I think he's a guard, either guard or forward. His name is Isaiah Nelson. I think he's the
Yeah.
best mid-major
He won player of
player.
the year for
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
mean
the
he's averaging
he's
almost
averaged
16 and 10.
yeah 16-10 with 1 point. So it looks like he is not a point guard.
No, he's a forward, and he's averaging about a steal and a half and a block and a half a game as well. So he puts some work in on the defensive side of the ball too.
Hmm.
uh
Yeah,
one one of the most exciting mid-major schools, St. Louis.
really.
Um they're 40.7% from three this season, second in the NCAA. Drake, do you know what a heavy motion system is?
No, I don't know what heavy motion system is.
I don't either.
I'm guessing
That's
it's
why I
just
I'd
asked.
imagine a lot of movement, probably a lot of screens as well. That'd
I
be
was
my
gonna say
guess.
if I had to take a swing at it, I would guess it's kind of like a Golden State system where it's kind of just like a five out almost. I guess I haven't seen who are we? Who's this again? This is
St.
They're
Louis,
matched up
St.
against
Louis.
Georgia,
Georgia.
8-9 matchup.
Hmm.
and Georgia's 1.5 point favorite to open. One thing noted is that if St. Louis
That's an
match
8-9,
up,
you said?
yep,
8-9 matchup. This is Georgia's best. I believe it's their best offensive team in school history, or in the past couple of years at least, is what I believe I heard on the broadcast.
If I
one
remember, if I remember last year, I think they said like the 8-9 matchup goes to the 9 majority of the time. I think it was like over 60% of the time the 9 wins that matchup. So
Also, to keep in mind, their big man for St. Louis is Robbie Avila, who I
the
believe
goggles,
was doing some pretty good stuff for Indiana State
yeah.
2 or 3 years ago. So he's still making movement there. Maybe we'll see a little March Madness action from him. But yeah, I kind of like St. Louis with this matchup here. Although Georgia's been pretty good, I think this is a very close and a very good 8-9 matchup that I think St. Louis could get the edge.
VCU, another mid-major school, popular in the tournament. Actually, they are sixth in the nation with bench points per game with 34.1.
Yeah, that
They're
happened today against Dayton. I believe it was a little bit past half, and they had 30 points off the bench. So,
and then their
hmm.
tough non-conference schedule. Uh, so they've played Utah State, they beat NC State, beat South Florida. They've played Vandy, New Mexico, and then they beat also Virginia Tech. That's their non-conference. That's part of their non-conference schedule.
they also beat
Uh,
South Florida.
yep. Uh, they play North Carolina first round. Are we thinking North Carolina just walks away with it? Close game.
I think it's
They
going to be a
lot,
close game. Without Caleb
it's got to
Wilson,
be, yeah, no,
it's
Caleb
it's
Wilson.
very hard. UNC's not as much of a threat as what they've been with him on the court. I think without Caleb Wilson, I think we're gonna see that loss in their game plan here in the tournament.
North Carolina opens up as a 2.5 point favorite in a 6-11 game.
This would probably be one of the 6-11 matchups I'd look out for an upset. I don't think it's as many as a 5-12, but I think this one's probably one of the better ones looking at the bracket.
Hmm.
And
Which one
then,
was this one? I yawned, sorry.
no, you're good.
6-11 matchup UNC VCU.
In the South, winner plays
UNC's.
Illinois, Penn.
Oh, is that the pen from earlier today that beat Yale?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Quakers.
Yeah, I did not like what I saw during that game. That was
That's
some
Ivy
bad
League.
hoops. That
Ivy
was some
League
bad
ball.
hoops, bro.
That is Ivy League
No,
ball at its
Illinois
finest.
should Illinois should walk away from that game. I'll be honest. There's no way they should let Penn upset them. But again, you never know.
And then Miami, Ohio thoughts.
Um, you,
Their
yeah,
record, congrats. But like,
they just didn't have any
who did
good
they
wins.
play good?
That's the thing. I mean, they
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 may
were
have.
gonna make the tournament. I wasn't worried about that, but obviously they got seeded as an 11 first four because, quite frankly, their strength of schedule was one of the weakest among the teams that were in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. It's just with all the they may have had some good wins in their conference, but like at the end of the day, you don't have a standout win like going to a Purdue to win or
Yeah,
like one of those ones or at home against Purdue or something like that.
Some of the closest spreads here are the 7-10 matchups, which makes sense. Besides the 8-9 matchups, Kentucky, Santa Clara. Kentucky is a -3.5 favorite against Santa Clara. It's been 30 years since they've made the tournament.
I've heard some bad things about Kentucky this year, and I feel like
It's
anytime I go on social media, the analysis people are just going, they're just inconsistent. They don't like you just don't know what Kentucky you're going to get on the day.
yeah. I've watched a couple games where Kentucky's been the opposing team, and they've just not looked anything like the Kentucky we once knew. But yeah, I mean, I think Santa Clara's got a pretty good squad this year. They've obviously upset Gonzaga, who's a pretty high seed in the tournament. So that's a good win there that they got. I think I think they could get it done. It just, it obviously will once again depend on how Kentucky decides to come out. There's been moments where they've been, looking like a top team in the nation, and then there's plenty of moments where they haven't looked good at all.
Another 7-10 matchup that looks to be just off the betting odds before any in-depth analysis.
Miami.
St. Mary's A&M.
Hmm. What side of the bracket is that? Is that south?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Santa
it's
Clara
south.
has not beaten Gonzaga. That was St. Mary's. My bad.
Um,
Miami and Missouri is also another close 7-10. We can talk about next. But the St. Mary's, let me pull that up here. I
in
believe.
terms of season stats, they are pretty similar. Texas A&M averages more field goals made a game, more three-pointers a game. They shoot roughly the same amount of free throws, but it seems like St. Mary's is more heavy on the glass.
That's what
Uh,
I'm looking at.
and rebounding is a huge thing in March Madness. If your shot's not going down, but you're getting offensive rebounds to stay alive and whatnot, that's just
Our offensive
it's
rebounding is
just one of those.
huge.
It's one of those things that like you don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but rebounding is
I
it's
think
incredible. It's insane.
I think Santa Clara has a 7-footer as well.
There's a lot of teams that have 7 footers. We saw who's the guy last night from who did Duke play? Virginia.
Oh, Virginia,
Virginia,
the guy
That
yeah.
that
dude was
had the
massive.
ACC tournament record for blocks in the tournament. Jesus,
Yeah, bro.
Uh,
I'm sure he'll
It's
grab a
insane.
couple off the glass too.
For
Miami,
sure.
Missouri, another 7-10 matchup here. Um,
It's out in the Midwest.
that is in the West, actually.
Oh, I'm looking at some. Still roughly about kind of the same. I just think it's going to be who's going to be the best rebounding team. That's why I like Houston as a 1 seed, even though I think their offense is or they're not 1 seed, are they 2 seed?
Yeah,
Who's
Houston's two
that?
seed.
Houston, two
Two
seed.
seed, yeah. But I just think like their defense and offensive rebounding, it's too good to like just shy away from. It doesn't matter who they play, and I think them playing Arizona first kind of gave them like a little taste like of what we need to clean up before the tournament starts. So
Definitely.
I think that them losing that game is going to be better for Houston than Arizona winning, if that makes sense. So then you kind of get that loss out of the way. That's like, damn,
Yeah,
we should have won that game.
a little lock-in moment.
Honestly, yeah. But
Um, what other close spreads? Obviously, all the 8-9 matchups are gonna be close spreads. NC
taking
State,
most nines,
Texas.
bro.
NC State, Texas. Texas opens up as a 1.5 point favorite in that game.
I wouldn't mind a little NC State there. I did not like what I saw from Texas against who
Ole
they lose
Miss.
to?
Ole
Ole
Miss
Miss.
right
Did
away.
not like that. Did not care for that game. I think one team I actually really they haven't won an NCAA tournament game, but I kind of like Nebraska. They were
Yeah.
talking about it before, or it must have been when they were picked on this thing, but
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
they're averaging like a turnover every 1 in 5 possessions or whatnot against their opponents. And then they're holding like let's see. Um they have wins over Illinois and Michigan State this year, and they're holding opposing teams to about 30% from their 3-point attempts, which is pretty dang good. And then they have a player that's shooting about 40% from three. So I mean, they they haven't won a tournament game, but I think Nebraska could be one of those like not like a sleeper, but kind of one of those teams that are going to go far that people don't expect.
Mm-hmm. Especially with their lack of
Experience.
experience or lack of pedigree in the NCAA tournament. Um, is
I think
there
people are just going to write them off.
is there any like 13, 14, 15, 16 seeds that you guys see that could possibly win in the first round. Because I'm looking, my only thought is maybe Cal Baptist.
No, I don't think Cal Baptist stands a chance, unfortunately.
That'd be my only thought.
I would say never like Wisconsin's made one run ever,
Frank
and they got to the final four,
Kaminsky.
and they got to the
Frank Kaminsky, Sam
yeah,
Decker.
they got to the championship game. Other than that, they lost to the 12 seed last year. I think that's going to continue with High Point.
Yeah, I like High Point there as well. I think, I'm kind of with you on the Arizona thing, Drake. I think Long Island could pull off something crazy. They are obviously massive underdogs, but I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona comes out a little flat. We saw a couple of their stars come out flat, 1 or 2 nights ago, and they just took a while to get cooking, took them into the second half to finally get going. I just think if, Long Island can come out firing, I think they're just going to have to play their asses off because obviously
Long Island's
Arizona,
had like over a week off as well.
yeah. So, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. Um, I guess we'll have to find out on March 20th when tip off happens. But
I don't
I
think
think,
I don't think Arizona's losing to like the Sweet 16 at that point. I don't think they are a different team to years past when they have gotten upset in the first couple rounds, but I just don't think they don't impress me, I guess. Some of the shooting, especially against Houston, was pretty good. But I don't know.
yeah,
Houston's defense makes you go, wow, that's a good defensive team. Arizona, they're kind of just like streaky. So
it's always hard trying to figure out the upsets, the big upsets of the tournament. Um, it always depends on, which team decides to come out for the higher seed, honestly. Sometimes I feel like the lower seeds, you know, they really play like they have nothing to lose. So oftentimes they're, crashing the glass, doing everything they can to keep the game going, even if they're down and into a rut, just taking damage on a big run. But
I like to see a North Dakota State over Michigan State. I think that might be one to keep an eye on.
That would probably be the one of the only high seed or low seed.
I just don't like Michigan State. All the stuff you've seen about him this year with what's his
Yeah.
face. Don't like him.
Fears.
Yeah, I don't like Fears. But other than that,
Yeah, I mean North Dakota State, they've uh they've had some a little bit of March magic in them the past few years. Um
it is a Tom Izzo team, so like I doubt it'll happen. But I would just like to see it.
they only have one player averaging over
Maybe
12
maybe like a
points.
Furman. Maybe like a Furman could upset a Dan Hurley and UConn. I don't know.
You think UConn gets
That would be
upset?
interesting.
I think that would be a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, I've kind of just been looking at everything here. I don't yeah, Furman could be a pretty good option there. I kind of think that I think the thing with Cal Baptist is if just Peterson just decides to actually play or just be ass. I think that's going to rely a lot on Kansas's production. But besides those, it's pretty hard. I kind of like the Kennesaw Gonzaga matchup, but obviously Kennesaw State
Kennesaw
hasn't.
is a fast-paced team.
They're fast, but they haven't played really anyone that good. They played Alabama in Alabama, and they lost. I think it was like a little over a 10-point game there. So, not sure how they're going to do with Gonzaga. Obviously, their coach has loads of experience. I believe Kennesaw State's coach is a bit newer, but was kind of under a pretty good historic
Hmm.
program head coach for previous years in Kennesaw. But I think that one could also be a pretty interesting game to look out for.
All right.
Yeah.
Last few minutes here. Um, who who is your guys' favorites and what top seeds do you guys hate?
Arizona, I hate.
Uh,
I don't know. I just obviously I like Duke. I just like the way they play. I think
What was that?
you hit a
My
gong or
knee.
something.
My knee, bro. It hit the mic.
He heard Duke. Boom. All right.
I would say
I like Iowa State.
I also like Iowa State. I also like Virginia. I really what
Yeah, I kind of like their
watching them
path is what I'm
verse
looking at too.
looking at how they played Duke. I think they are just a couple terrible possessions away from winning the game.
I
But
think Arkansas makes the Final Four out of the West.
Yeah, they got a pretty easy path as well.
Yeah, really, once you get past Arizona, I I don't see Purdue making it past the Sweet 16, really. I think they're
I like Purdue. They hit their stride when they needed to. I'm watching them against
Michigan.
Michigan today.
Michigan. They look good.
They
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 look
looked
good.
really
they
good,
looked
especially the
extremely
second
good.
half. The second half, they kind of ran away with it there.
And even like their coach at the end of the game, they're like, like after like that 17-1 start, their defense fell off. They fell off in the Big Ten, and then he just said they clicked at the right time. So I mean, I would ride Purdue pretty heavy. I think at this point, I'd only see one seed in the Final Four, if that. I think that would be Duke.
Duke. Florida, do they lose early?
Yeah. Actually,
Oh,
I
God,
don't know.
they're so good rebounding wise, but they were absolutely awful in their loss. It was such a bad loss for them in the tournament.
I don't know. It could just be one of those losses that wakes the team up as well. It's like you never know.
Mm-hmm. Uh, BYU with AJ.
No,
Does
they're
he does he
they're too
pull
inconsistent.
does he pull some magic out to get him to the Sweet 16 at least, get a win over that first round win and then win over Gonzaga possibly?
He might play good, but I don't see the rest of his team playing good. BYU
Definitely,
just
definitely 20
never
points you're getting out of him, but
they never struck me as a team that like it's like okay they can make a run. If they make it past the first round, I don't see them making past Gonzaga. And even if they make it past Gonzaga, I don't see them. I think Purdue. I think Purdue wipes the floor with them.
Uh, Danny, a team that you don't like in the tournament right now, high seed, low seed, a team that you just don't like them at all.
I don't know. I'm pretty close here between.
I think Houston would be a good pick.
I'm
For
kind of
not
no.
liking.
I'm kind of close
Yeah,
between
their
between
offense just
Kansas
isn't good enough.
between Kansas and probably Kansas and Houston. I think those two teams I don't really like looking at the rest of the tournament. I think Kansas has
Samson's
just
teams. Yeah, sorry. Samson's teams just like they always were good at defense, and then like when the defense gets bogged down, they're not getting stops. Then it just kind of comes like hero ball. I know they got Fleming or what's his face.
yeah, Fleming. He was pretty good for them in
He's
the
he's a good
Big
freshman,
12
but at the end of the day, you don't know how far he's
lead
gonna be
them.
able to take the offense if their defense isn't getting stops. Which I
Yeah.
don't think that's gonna be a problem against the St. Mary's or an Idaho or a Texas A&M. So
St. Mary's, I think, will be if they meet St. Mary's, I think that'd be a tough matchup for them. Um, but Drake, a team that you don't like, obviously Arizona. What's another team do you guys like the Big Ten? Because in recent years, Big
I never
Ten's
trust a
been
Big Ten team
it's
It's always
always been
hard.
don't trust the Big Ten.
I feel like you
Because
could
besides
there's
like a
trust like
Purdue.
you could trust like one to get, at least Elite 8, maybe to the Final 4, but it's always very risky with those types of teams.
Purdue last year was good. A Tom Izzo team is always good, but like even
there's that
when
one year where they all lost in the first round.
yeah,
Almost every
no,
Big Ten team in the tournament.
no, I would say probably another team I don't like.
I don't like Alabama.
I like Alabama. I think
I don't think
Holloway, I think Holloway heats up. Their offense is just so quick. Like it's just a personal preference, I guess. But
do you think them versus Texas Tech? They face Texas Tech.
I think that's just a good matchup in general. I think if I know who my brother would take, I would say if those two matched up, I would probably still take Tex. Nah, without Toppin, I go Bama for sure. JT Toppin was so good at the start of the year, and he was basically the reason why Texas Tech went into Arizona, beat Arizona, went into Houston, beat Houston. Like they had so many good wins,
Hmm.
and then they haven't like fallen off, but like it's just without like your good. It's like the Wolves losing Ant right now. Like that's just like what I would compare it to, like the fall off there.
One last thing here, as I'm looking at the top, how many teams each conference has on my TV right now. SEC has 10. It's the top conference in the tournament right now. Do you think the SEC is overrated with how many teams they have in the tournament, or do they deserve to be there?
Oh,
You think they deserve to be there?
I think it's between the SEC and the Big 12 are the best conference.
Yeah, I mean, either one
I
is gonna
personally would take
have.
the Big 12, but
Big
other
Ten
than that,
has
I don't know.
9. Big Ten's second with 9.
No, I don't care about the Big 10. I'm sorry.
But obviously a weird one for me is Tennessee at 6. They always do well around tournament time. Um,
Hmm.
so
It's I don't know about Tennessee, man.
Yeah. I'm not.
I think that bottom of the Midwest bracket is going to be a good shakeup. I don't think I would take. I guess I'd still probably have a Iowa State, Virginia in the Sweet 16. Like other than that,
Yeah, I think Virginia
not
kind
another
of
team.
runs away
Yeah,
in that bottom portion there.
no, that Iowa State Virginia game. That's a toss up. I don't think analytics can decide that one. It's just going to be whatever team shows up that day.
Exactly. I think that's, the exciting part about the tournament is anything can happen at any given moment. So I think that's going to do it with episode 27 of the Section for Fans podcast. Everyone get your brackets ready because it's March. See you next time.